What's up, guys? Okage Puya here, and Arsenal fans. I want you to look at yourselves in the mirror right now and ask yourselves, can my club challenge for the Premier League for a third season in a row from the business we've done this so far? The answer is no. Look at yourself in the mirror and all of your filth. Haven't brushed your teeth in a couple of days, haven't showered, no girlfriend, no money, no life. Look at yourselves in the mirror and ask yourselves, is my club good enough to challenge for the Premier League again for a third time this season? And the answer is no. And you guys are, yes, you know I'm angry because you're Arsenal fans. You guys are arrogant. You guys are disgusting. Your mentality as fans is shameful. It's laughable. It's disgusting behavior from Arsenal fans. And Arsenal fans, you guys think you guys are going to challenge for the Premier League for a third time this season? And notice I always say challenge. Y'all ain't champs. Y'all ain't won shit. You guys think you're going to challenge again and make it close with Manchester City again for the third season in a row. You guys, how many teams actually put up 3 title challenges in a row without winning it? Not many. Not many. Maybe you could go back to Fergie's peak Manchester United and peak Wenger at Arsenal, but not this Arsenal team. It's not common. I think Arsenal have missed out on their chance to win a Premier League. Pep Guardiola doesn't mess up. Pep Guardiola only messes up a couple times, and you guys failed to capitalize on that. And the whole point of this video is that Arsenal is not doing the essential business needed this summer window to actually get to the level where they can surpass Manchester City and win a Premier League title. Now, in any other case, in any other scenario, this Arsenal team would be good enough. They would be Premier League champions, maybe back to back. But a certain guy in Pep Guardiola, a menace, a sicko, a weirdo, a guy whose whole entire that weird bald guy, Pep Guardiola, he owns the Premier League. He's turned the Premier League into a farmers league. Unfortunately, he has bodied the league and made it look like a piss show, a carnival show, a kid's happy birthday show. That's what Pep Guardiola has done to the Premier League. But this is the Pep Guardiola era. And Arsenal, you need to be better than perfect to be Pep Guardiola. You need to be better than excellent. You need to be better than the best to be Pep Guardiola in the league format. And I'm sorry, the business Arsenal has done this summer is not good enough. The team is still not good enough to challenge City over 38 games. It just isn't. Let's go through the team. Here's the team. Shout out to Foot Mob, best website for football shit. Mikel Arteta, okay, I think Arteta is a good coach. I think he gets a lot of hate. I think you idiotic, filthy Arsenal fans, you guys forget 6 years ago where you guys were. You guys seem to forget that 5 years ago you guys were an 8th place team, battling for mid-table, dreaming of Champions League again. Arteta has set up the club, and the club has done their transfers in a way that this team can expect with Arteta Champions League football every freaking season. So don't forget, Arteta's a great coach. So any Arsenal fan out there, if you think Arteta's not a good enough coach, you're stupid. Arteta is good enough. Arteta has set up Arsenal the last 2 seasons to be good enough to win the league. It is the squad that has let Arsenal down. And that is my whole issue. The business done this transfer window in the summer so far, there's still a couple weeks to go of the transfer window. It's not good enough, Arsenal. It's not good enough. Mikel Arteta, I think, great coach. The defense, David Raya, he's a good goalie, right? And Aaron Ramsdale is probably one of the best backup goalies in the world. But I'm sorry, David Raya ain't a Premier League caliber winning goalie. I'm sorry, he's not. I understand that he was the goalie last season and he benched Ramsdale, and a lot of people think of David Raya highly. I personally don't believe David Raya is as good as many people think he is. He's a good goalie and a very good, protected by a very good defense. You put David Raya in behind, say Tottenham's defense, he's not that good. He's not that good. That's just how it is. He's not even that amazing out of the back, and his shot stopping at times is great, but it's not world class. David Raya is just your above average goalie. So for me, David Raya being your starting goalie, if you want to be a Premier League winning team, not good enough. And Ramsdale being your backup goalie, that's pretty damn good. You know what I mean? Go to the defense. Now, don't get me wrong. Timber was injured all of last season, so we didn't get to see what Timber what Arteta could have done with Jurier Timber. So we're gonna see. Gabriel, Saliba, I think these are center back. These are Premier League winning center back quality. The Arsenal at the center back position is set, right? But my issue comes with the fullbacks. Ben White, fantastic right back. Ben White doesn't give you the dynamic attacking output that other right backs give teams. Yes, people might say, "Oh, well, the perception is that Ben White is actually a defensive fullback, but he really isn't. Look at his underlying stats. Ben White actually does get involved in attack." I'm sorry, Ben White is no Joshua Kimmich. I'm sorry, Ben White is no Danny Carvajal. He is not. He is not. And don't even try to fool me that he is. Ben White is a very solid defensive right back, but this guy's a center back by trade. Do you want to be Premier League winners? Ben White holds you back and hold because a lot of times Saka is carrying that right side in the attack. It doesn't help Saka that Ben White isn't the most competent attacking fullback. It really doesn't. But that's an okay sacrifice. I don't think Ben White is a main reason that Arsenal hasn't won the league yet under Arteta. It's players like this guy, Alexander Zinchenko, Manchester City's scraps, rejects, Pep Guardiola's cum rags, like Alexander Zinchenko. These guys need to leave your team. Kieran Tierney is back from his loan spell at Real Sociedad. He's not good enough. I thought he would be great for Arsenal. He just isn't that good. He's not as good as people thought he was going to be. Maybe injuries have definitely hampered Tierney, but he's nowhere near as good as everyone thinks. Zinchenko, loser mentality, crybaby, Manchester City, the team you're trying to beat, your team should not be comprised of the players that were cast aside from that team. They shouldn't. And Alexander Zinchenko should be a player that should leave. I do think Zinchenko is a good player. He is technically sound, probably the best technical Ukrainian player, but he is not good enough to be in a Premier League winning team, be one of your main players. He isn't. He wasn't at City, and he shouldn't be and wouldn't be at Arsenal. Tomiyasu is good defensive depth. Timber, let's see what he does this season. Calafiori, off of one good season for Bologna and a semi-decent, probably Italy's best player at the second best player at the Euros this past summer, behind Gianluigi Donnarumma. Calafiori, good, great, but defense really wasn't Arsenal's issue. Arsenal's issue lies in other phases of the team, other positions in the team. Defense wasn't the issue, but don't get me wrong, Calafiori coming in, good signing, but it's just not enough to compete with City. It isn't. I think the defense is comparable to City's, right? But everywhere else, it's just not enough. Go to the midfield. Jorginho, no. He's a good bench player, but at times Arsenal had to rely on him to start in the league last season. Not good enough. Thomas Partey kind of fell off, as isn't as strong as he was when he was partnered up with Xhaka 2 seasons ago and 3 seasons ago. He wasn't. Martin Odegaard, best player in the team. Arsenal's best player is Martin Odegaard. I believe that. It's a shame he plays for Arsenal. I'd love to see him at Bayern. I'd love to see him come to Bayern and play for us. But hey, he's at Arsenal. I think he is the best player in the Arsenal team. Declan Rice, okay, cool. Smith Rowe, looks like he's gone to Fulham, so not really a player there. But outside of that, what else is there in this midfield? Who else is there in this midfield? There ain't much. There ain't much. So you got Odegaard, Rice, cool. Who's that third midfielder? I know Havertz sometimes playing there, but Havertz does not play well as a midfielder. He is not a midfielder. Jorginho shouldn't be a starter. Where is that third midfielder? Who is it? Now, Arsenal is rumored to be close to signing Mikel Merino. The Real Sociedad midfielder scored the winning goal against Germany in the Euros quarterfinal. Last-minute goal, header. But Mikel Merino is not good enough to reach the City level because you're signing a guy in Mikel Merino who, at the Spain team, is the bench player to freaking Rodri. Mikel Merino is the bench player to Rodri, the bench player to Fabian Ruiz, the bench player to Pedri, the bench player to Gavi. That's what Mikel Merino is. Now, Mikel Merino, he's a brilliant Spanish technician, brilliant Spanish footballer. If you watch my videos talking about how the Euro final exposed the Premier League, you'll know how much I think highly of these Spanish players. But Mikel Merino, yes, he comes in and he makes and forms a very good-looking midfield three. Declan Rice, Mikel Merino, Martin Odegaard. But the bench options are just not there. Jorginho, for me, I never rated Jorginho. I don't think he's that great. Thomas Partey has fallen off a cliff. Fabio Vieira, I'm sorry. I'm done trying to be fooled by Arsenal fans. The guy ain't good. And you got all these youngsters. The only guy I know of is the Nwaneri guy, Ethan Nwaneri. I heard he's semi decent, but the bench depth, the depth in midfield isn't good enough. So say Mikel Merino does come in, it's not confirmed. You're looking at a very good midfield three: Declan Rice, Mikel Merino, Martin Odegaard. But how does that stack up to Cities? How does that stack up to Rodri and Kevin De Bruyne? I don't think it's Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden, all that. I don't think it's comparable, but it's still not enough to topple the giant that City is, the giant that Pep Guardiola's big, massive, bald head is when it comes to league format play, and how he's dominated the Premier League and made the Premier League look like a Farmers League crap league for the past 5, 6, 7, 8 years. It's not good enough. And my big, the defense and midfield aren't even my biggest beefs with Arsenal. I think these are two very solid portions of Arsenal's team. My biggest beefs are I don't think Raya is a world class goalie. I don't think he'll ever be world class. And this is my other beef. Not good enough. It just is not good enough. Starting right off the bat, you have another one of City's come wipes and Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus, not good enough. Cast away from City for a reason. Haaland came to replace him. Didn't live up to expectations at City, and he was cast away. Failed multiple times for City in key moments. Did not show that he's a clinical finisher. And yes, when Gabriel Jesus came to Arsenal, he shows incredible technical ability on the ball and shows that he is a really exciting player to watch for Arsenal. But I'm sorry, he's not a clinical striker. He's not a clinical finisher. And that, Arsenal missed that. Arsenal need that. Next to Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz. Love Kai Havertz. Kind of actually don't love him. Love-hate relationship right now for Kai Havertz because for Germany, I just don't get what his role is under Nagelsmann. I don't get it. But Havertz exceeded expectations last season. A lot of people thought he would go to Arsenal and flop. He ended up being their best goal scorer. But the thing about Kai Havertz is he is not clinical. If you watch the Euros this last summer, he is not a clinical striker. So again, same issue with Gabriel Jesus and Kai Havertz. These guys are not clinical strikers. Arsenal should be looking to sign a clinical striker. They should be trying to break the bank for a striker that will put away most of the chances that come to them. Kai Havertz and Gabriel Jesus are not those guys. Eddie Nketiah looks like he's going to Marseille. Bye-bye. Never does. The fact they gave him the number 14 jersey is still disgusting. Gabriel Martinelli, again, he's a good player, but he's not. I don't think he's Premier League winning quality. I don't think he's as good as Phil Foden. Hell, I think he's maybe him and Jack Grealish are on similar level, in my opinion. Him and Jack Grealish. Him and Doku are on similar level. And, these guys are guys that don't necessarily start for Man City every single game. So Gabriel Martinelli is a good cog in the team. Bukayo Saka, the star of the attack, always performs for Arsenal. I did not want that to show. Foot mob, what are you doing? Making me go crazy. Bukayo Saka, great player, face of Arsenal. I think, he's a Premier League winning caliber player. He's been showing it for Arsenal. The fact is that his forward, Kai Havertz, Gabriel Jesus, whoever it was in the past, they do not put away the chances that he creates, and they make Arsenal look worse. They are one of the main reasons that Arsenal does not have a Premier League title to their name. Leandro Trossard, player I love, fantastic dribbler, comes off the bench a lot for Arsenal. I think he should start more over Gabriel Martinelli, in my opinion. I think Leandro Trossard should be given a better go. But again, is Trossard a Premier League winning caliber starter? I don't think so. So I'm looking at this attack, two unreliable strikers. You have Martinelli, Trossard, who are decent players. You have Bukayo Saka, who's a fantastic player in the face of the Arsenal team. You have a midfield who the starting three, if Mikel Merino comes in, is a very strong starting three, but the depth isn't there. The defense is the strongest part about Arsenal, depth and everything there. And they have a goalie who I don't think is world class. It's not looking good for Arsenal. I'm sorry. It's not looking like, and what do I mean by it's not looking good for Arsenal? I don't think maybe you guys semi-challenge up until February, maybe March this season, but I'm sorry. City's just going to win the Premier League again. It's going to be what, 5 in a row? The Premier League will continue to stay a Farmers League as long as Pep Guardiola is with Manchester City. And Arsenal, if you don't go out there and pay 120, 130 million, that's what Arsenal needs to do. Arsenal needs to go out there and get that blockbuster signing. Arsenal needs to go out there and go for the players like Verts. Go for the players like, I don't know, all the youngsters. Xavi Simons. They should be in for Xavi Simons, but they're not going after him. They haven't even tried to enter talks with the guy. Florian Wirtz next season, when Bayern are going to be chomping at the bit for him, they need to challenge Bayern for the signature of Florian Wirtz. They need to challenge Real Madrid for the signature of Florian Wirtz. Arsenal, as long as they don't make that big, key, marquee, striking signing to absolutely revolutionize their attack and turn them into a clinical goal-scoring machine, and to score the chances that matter the most in the games against West Ham, in the games against Brighton, in the games against Brentford. They need that guy that will score that chance that Havertz misses. They need a guy that will score that chance that Gabriel Jesus, bum-ass Gabriel Jesus, will miss, inevitably. And that's the main thing Arsenal is missing, and Arsenal have not been making an effort to sign that player. And that, for me, is an issue. And that, for me, is the reason why I think Arsenal need more signings. Arsenal, in fact, they need a signing, a clinical goddamn striker. Now, I know there's not that many world-class number 9s out there, but with proper scouting, anything is possible. With proper scouting, there is a guy out there that fits Arteta's system and that can score the goals for them. They just need to put the effort and the money into doing so. And they need to make more signings to bolster that midfield depth and that attacking depth. Arsenal fans, be cautious of your expectations next season. You guys need to tread waters carefully. Don't get too excited, because I'm sorry, I think this won't be as good of a season as the last 2 seasons have been for you guys. It's just going to be another secure top 4, get Champions League, and see if Pep Guardiola leaves after winning another Premier League and making the Premier League boring for himself. This is Okage Puyo, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.